Welcome to Estrada Sisters Connect. We're your hosts. I'm Veronica Estrada.
And Patricia Estrada.
And today, Patricia is going to share with us her therapy journey. And we are so grateful to hear what the process has been like for her. She's going to share three different types of therapies that she's experienced. And with that, I will let you take it away, Patricia, and I'll just jump in with any questions as they come up.
Thank you. Thank you, sister. So as you guys know, as I've mentioned, if you have watched any of the other episodes, I have done talk therapy for a few years now. I mentioned in our last episode about how I found my therapist on BetterHelp.com at the beginning of 2018. So the process might have been different back then, but how it went for me at the time in January of 2018 was I went on their website and I was able to browse all the counselors that they had. And I was literally just going through the hundreds of counselors, like looking at the photos and just looking for a woman of color. Like specifically, I was looking for a Latina woman, but honestly, just like any woman of color. And I ended up finding Patty. Her name is Patricia Alvarado, and she has been just crucial to my mental health in the last few years, especially after moving here. So I started going to talk therapy in 2018 after I had an episode. I think I mentioned this in one of our talks, but I
You
got,
did.
or an interview or something, but I got my wallet stolen. I was pickpocketed on a bus, and I just had such an outburst after that. I became someone that I did not like. Like not in the moment, um, it was because I was on my way. I was taking the bus with a friend, which I never took the bus, which is why I got comfortable not getting pickpocketed. And so I was on my way to a dinner, and my friend and I were going, and so I had my hands full. And in the moment, of course, I got upset, and I was telling people, and I was like, be careful, like they're gonna steal your shit, but I managed to calm down and get to the dinner that we were going to, and have a good night, and everything was fine. But then when I got home, I lost my shit on Salvatore because he asked me some questions about the wallet. And at that point, I like I said, I became somebody that I was not happy to be. I was, you know,
Mm.
the reaction that I had was just not appropriate for any human to have. Like we
Not
should.
healthy, perhaps?
What?
Wasn't healthy, like for
Um,
healthy communication
it
or
was
expression of anger.
rage. It was rage. That's what it was. And I just like, I mean, sure, all emotions are to be felt. I'm not here to say that we should never feel rage or anger, but um, there's proportionate amounts, right? And also it depends on if you're taking it out on someone else versus just having that emotion by yourself. If you want to punch a pillow or scream into an empty room, like that's one thing. But if you're attacking your partner for example, and so that's what caused me to seek out therapy in the first place, talk therapy. So that's the one that I have the most experience with. The second type of therapy that I have tried is EMDR, and darn it, I didn't look it up, but I think it's eye movement
Eye movement
desensitization,
desensitization.
reprocessing. EMDR, eye movement desensitization reprocessing. And Patty, my therapist, she had brought it up to me a couple of times, and I mean, at this point, we've been together for 4 years, and that's incredible. It's insane. It's mind blowing, but it feels good. Actually, at this current moment, we are on a break because our schedules didn't sync up, and I'm on Italian holiday. I love living in Italy, so the month of August is like holiday time, and so at this point right now, we're on our longest break we've ever had without talking, 4.5 weeks. And when we said goodbye after the last talk, I was not scared.
Oh, congratulations. That is huge.
Thank you,
That
thank you.
is a huge breakthrough.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
let's just say that. But so she mentioned EMDR like throughout our different our many sessions that we had. There were times when we were talking bi-monthly, there were times where we were talking weekly, and then we were doing weekly for a really long time, and then we recently switched back to bi-weekly, and then in the last couple of months we've gone back to weekly. So it's also that even that aspect can change, right? But anyway,
Mhm.
back to EMDR. Like I said, she had mentioned it, and we tried it a couple of times, but I think that I wasn't ready. Just like I said in our last video, we were talking about how, like, you have to be ready in order to process things, right? So she never pushed too hard. But once COVID happened and I was able to have that like year plus of just going within and doing my inner work and like sitting with all of my demons and making friends with them, or
Mhm.
wanting to make friends with them, I contacted her and was like, listen, I'm ready to deal with this shit. Let's make
Mhm.
every single session, let's make it a point to do the EMDR, please. And so that's how the EMDR therapy has helped me the most, is by my seeking it out. And so essentially what it is so eye movement desensitization reprocessing. Your therapist brings up the painful memory. You tell them, obviously, like, this is something you've already discussed beforehand, so you tell them, and then they say, she's like, okay, let's talk about what we were talking about before. This, if you said that when this happens you experience these types of feelings, and therefore you associate that with being this way. Okay, so she'll bring it up in that way, and she's like, okay, I want you to she's like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how disturbing is that for you right now? And it's different every time. Sometimes it's 10, sometimes
Mhm.
it's 8, sometimes it's 3, depending on how I'm doing that week. And so once you bring that up, she's like, okay, let's go with that. And so the way that we do it from long distance is she sends me a link to get into a little room. And the room is literally, it's just a black screen with 2 little green dots. And sometimes they just go left and right, and sometimes they go in an infinity symbol. But the important thing is that your eyes follow the balls, the little dots. And so it'll go, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds to a minute. I'm not ever sure how long it goes, but you're just you're keeping that memory up front and center, and then you're following along. And she's watching your eyes constantly. And then once that one session stops, she'll bring the memory back up front and center and say, what's coming up for you? Or on a scale of 1 to 10, how disturbing is that for you now? And so sometimes it's still a 10, sometimes it's a 9, sometimes it goes down to a 6. Sometimes I tell her, listen, to be honest, my mind was going somewhere else. I was trying to think about what I'm going to be making for dinner after this, or I was thinking about what I'm going to be doing for lunch tomorrow. And so at that point, you know that your body is trying to protect you, and it's trying to not think about the difficult things. And I
Mhm.
have to take a deep breath right now, because this is heavy stuff, you know?
Mhm.
And
Yeah, we're really grateful that you're sharing this with us for everyone's benefit, right? Para el bien de todos. And it's no easy feat, but I certainly appreciate the detail that you're going into. And yeah, whenever you're ready.
I am, and that's the power of deep breathing. And also, like, mindfulness, right? Being present in your body, because I started to feel that, and I could have spiraled and started kind of talking crazy, or, saying things that are totally irrelevant is what I meant. Try to use
Mhm.
crazy less often nowadays. Stigmas. But so yeah, so basically, that's what EMDR is like. And the point of the EMDR is to get you to, it's to desensitize you from a triggering thought or a triggering situation. And so you're working on the thoughts that you've experienced, And then they will even guide you to think about a future experience when something like that might happen. And they'll say, I want you to think about a time, I want you to play it like a movie, okay? And I want you to envision how you would like to react instead. And so then you continue to follow those dots, keeping that in mind. And another thing that she does, that therapists that do this do, is that they'll make sure that they bring you back, or like, I'm sorry, let me start that again. So one very important and very helpful thing that she's done with EMDR with me is that I'll have the thought. So she'll say, she'll bring the thought back up, and then she'll say, I want you to imagine I'm okay as I am. And I want you to imagine like it's a ribbon, like it's surrounding you, because this thought is real, this experience is real, but I want you to focus on I'm okay as I am. And so that has been extremely helpful. And so we'll spend time, not only will we spend time on feeling the emotion, we'll then move into I'm okay as I am. And then she'll close out the session with helping me. And she has this technique of putting things into a container, because sometimes our emotions are so overwhelming. And it's taken a lot of practice, but I've finally been able to put things into containers. And I just like imagine all different kinds of containers in my mind. And like, I just like, and sometimes like I imagine a jar more than anything, but like sometimes I need to like imagine that I'm like dissolving the feelings and the thoughts into like a vapor. And they're usually a black vapor. They usually have a color. And I imagine that once it's a vapor, I'm able to put it into the container, because sometimes the thought feels so overwhelming that like, I can't put it into a container. But if you just visualize it becoming a liquid, a vapor, right, smoke, whatever it is that you want, you're able to then control it and put it in there. And sometimes I wrap a curtain around it, like in my mind, I'm putting this away, and then I put it on a shelf and then I put a box in front of it, and then I close the,
Yeah. This is how we do shadow work. Yeah. Honestly, this is the inner work.
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. And visualization is so important in that space.
Yeah.
And I know that. Thank you for sharing all of that. That was really huge. I did not know the exact process of EMDR therapy, so thanks for sharing that. And I know we want to keep these episodes to a certain time frame, but the amount of detail that you shared is really important and really valuable to us. So how about we table this now, and we go back to the last one you were going to discuss is the psychiatrist. Yeah. Which I think is also just another level of therapy that we have yet to discuss. So this in and of itself has been really huge for me to learn. And thank you so much for sharing, how you process emotions and big emotions and the practice and the years it's taken. And this is why we talk about this now, because if you're just at the beginning of your journey, you're in the middle of your journey, or literally this is a lifelong thing, right? And sometimes we get to take breaks from our therapists or coaches, and sometimes we don't. So this is almost like a muscle that we get to exercise and flex. And when we get strong enough, we can take a break. But just like the gym, we have to keep going back for more and to keep strengthening ourselves, because life will continue to happen and circumstances will continue to shift. So thank you so much for sharing that. Is there anything else that you want to share with us?
Yeah, no, thank you. I didn't, and I even wrote down my talking points for this. I just want you guys to know that was just very, very authentic. In case you couldn't tell, it was just me wanting to give, detail and just background information, because I don't understand why people don't talk more about these things. It's mental health. Like, just like if you had, you know, any type of physical ailment, it's totally fine for you to go to the doctor and to get a second opinion and to go to a specialist and to get, you know, go to physical therapy and to go to, you know, like a special masseuse or to try acupuncture, and all of these things are normal to talk about. But then once it turns to the brain, it's like, oh no, we don't talk about that. Like, so
Yeah.
I'm really happy to share this information with people, because I just wish that people like myself, normal people who are, you know, from our culture, would talk about these things. And so, yeah, I'm glad that, thank you for pausing that there, because yes, and the last thing is the psychiatry, and we definitely have planned to talk about medication. I do, the one thing that I do want to say, so like I said, we'll talk about that later, but one thing I want to mention is that I do think that my anxiety medication, which is gabapentin, it is usually used for epilepsy. So, and then it's as an off-label, or whatever it's called, gray label, like something else that you can be prescribed for that is not the original use. So it can also be used for general anxiety disorder. I have to say
Mhm.
that I really truly believe that for me personally, the anxiety medication is what has helped me dive into the deeper traumas and be able
Mm.
to do the EMDR work on a regular basis, you know, and
Okay.
able to
Right.
use that container, the things that I was telling you about, because I had tried to do those before, but I thought it was dumb. Like, like, full disclosure, you know, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna put it in a fucking container in my brain. Like, okay, like this is like a monster emotion, and you're telling me to put it in the goddamn. And that was just like the fear, you know, and like that was the anxiety talking, the anxiety
Anxiety.
monster
Yeah.
taking over. So I just wanted to, because it's full disclosure, it's full transparency, and I just don't want people, I mean, if one thing works for you, fabulous, you know, but I want to be transparent in what has and has not worked for me. So that's all.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for the transparency. And guys, keep tuning in, gals, everyone, keep tuning into these episodes. These conversations are going to continue to be this candid and transparent. And really, we want to share the medicine that we've made from healing our own wounds and connect with all of you so that you too feel like you can do the same thing. And we're here to just share, be examples, right? We're not these we are normal people. So again, reach out to us, connect with us. We're happy to be of service and share our experiences. And definitely tune in to the next episode of Estrada Sisters Connect. We will see you there.
Yay, see you.
Bye.
Oh, wait.